Hello, everybody. Welcome. This is week one of Coaching for Wellness and Physiological Integration. Before I get started, I would like to briefly introduce myself. My name is Hannah Suh. I am an assistant professor in the Department of Counseling, School and Educational Psychology, housed within Grad School of Education. And my research and clinical interests are in this very topic, which is on mindfulness and positive psychology interventions, which you'll see in the following slides will be introduced as some of the constructs in this course. So I'm really excited for this course. It's really right up in my alley. And so I hope you enjoy this course and the topic as much as I do. All right, so let's get started with what the definition of coaching is. So there's actually this entity called International Coach Federation that guides and certifies professional coaches. And although this course is not in any way related to fulfilling the requirements for that becoming a professional coach, I think the general concepts and the philosophy are quite similar. So I've borrowed their definition of what coaching is and would like to introduce that here in our class. So, coaching is defined as partnering with clients in a thought provoking and creative process that inspires clients to maximize their personal and professional potential. So, as you can see here, from personal and professional potential, coaching gets applied to not only in personal journey, but also in business and organizational settings as well, most likely with the help of HR offices, hence the word of professional potential here. But for the focus of our class, we'll be focusing most likely on the personal potential maximization because that's going to be the most likely encounters that you'll have with your clients. And coaches help people improve their performances and enhance the quality of their lives. So, as you see here, coaches not only focus on meeting their performance expectations, but also pay attention to how people's quality of lives are ensured. So, coaching really is a vehicle for helping people achieve their higher level of well being, which is always attainable in really in any aspect of their lives. It could be on their work, if it's more on the professional potential maximization side. It could be on one's health. It could be on one's mental well-being. It could be on one's interpersonal effectiveness. So it could really be applied in any of the disciplines, but in particular in this course, we'll be focusing on coaching for wellness. And coaching is especially helpful when the change is hard. So, as you can already attest to in your clinical work or in your respective disciplines through course materials, it's not that clients or patients don't want to change. They all want to feel better. They all want to have a good recovery, fast recovery, but it's just hard for them to change. And there's multiple reasons why it's hard for them to change. It could be that they've had a bad experience prior, so they have lower self efficacy. It could be that this is something that's just traumatic for them, something that's too big for them to handle in the moment. Or it could be that there are so many things going on at the same time, they could not possibly pay attention to their own full functioning. So we will be focusing most likely with the population when change is hard and how to kind of assess the change process and their readiness for change with our clients in this class. So, what do coaches do? According to this definition, coaches seek to elicit solutions and strategies from the client. They believe the client is naturally creative and resourceful, and it's the coach's job to provide support and enhance the skills, resources, and creativity that the client already has. So, already what you see here in the definition is that coaching is not an expert approach, if you will. It's not that coach tells the coachee, this is what you need to do. Did you do it or not? If not, these are the repercussions. But rather, coaches understand that clients already have the potential to change. They have the necessary capacity to acquire the skills for that change. But somehow that change is not working for them independently in the moment. So you as a coach is facilitating that process. So rather than defining a agenda for your coachees, you will likely elicit what their agenda is through open-ended questions, and also know that it's not really your job, although you're assisting them, it's not really your job to be responsible for their well-being or their health. So how you would do that is kind of have that shared responsibility and foster different possibilities that your coaches may be able to envision and help them own their own responsibility in the whole change process. So with this general definition of coaching, let's take a look at what coaching for wellness in particular would look like. So coaching for wellness focuses on helping your clients and patients make lifestyle changes to improve their health. And as you can already presume, the health here refers to both physical and mental health. And although it might not be that much apparent for your clients and patients, helping them understand that the physical and mental health are interrelated. So if you're kind of feeling what's the word? Kind of like your physical energy is down, you don't feel like doing anything, you've been eating junk food, it's likely that it will take more for you to feel good, or to experience more of a positive emotions. But let's say if you're in a positive mood, even some of the physical ailments or some of the pain that you may experience might feel lighter or less. So physical and mental health are interrelated, and one way for us to help us as coaches, to help our clients and patients understand how they're interrelated, is through that mind-body intervention, such as yoga and mindfulness, body sensation, meditation, and so on. So those will be introduced in this course. How you help your clients and patients is by you being knowledgeable about the process of change and help your clients also understand their own process of change and also help them acknowledge what's preventing them from change. And as I said in the previous slides, there might be multiple reasons why this change is particularly difficult for your given client or patient. How you facilitate the change process is by establishing health and wellness goals. And this is something that I want you to really pay attention to because it is oftentimes very hard for clients and patients to really concretely understand what they want and what their goals are. So you'll hear occasionally your clients and patients telling you, oh, I just want to be away from this pain, or I just want to be happy, or I just want an instant fix. And it's just ambiguous as that. It really doesn't give you any information about what they're looking for and what their specific goals are. And if these health and wellness related goals are ambiguous, and are not measurable, then it's hard for not only you to assess the change process of your clients and patients, but also it's going to be frustrating for them as well. So always help your clients and patients establish health and wellness related goals that is specific, that is measurable, concrete, and so on. And once you've established what those goals are, then you're going to develop with your coaches some of the concrete action steps to achieve their health and wellness related goals. So in this Coaching for Wellness class, one of the coaching models, if you will, or the general philosophy that I would like to have as an undercurrent to all that we do is what's called a positive psychology lens. And some of you may have heard what positive psychology is if you have taken undergraduate personality psychology or positive psychology or well-being related courses. For some of you, it might be a new discipline, and you might be wondering what positive psychology means. So let me just introduce to you what positive psychology is. So in 1970s, this person named Donald Clifton was having this aha moment and was thinking, in psychology, we focus so much on what's not working well, like what is the deficit of this person, what is the disorder that this person could be diagnosed of, and not really focusing on what people have right in themselves already, despite the fact that they might have some deficits or despite the fact that they might be diagnosed with a disorder. So he was thinking, rather than focusing on the negatives, how about what if we study what is right with people? And from this aha moment came a whole wave within the field of psychology, which got spilled over to more of a larger health disciplines about let's find what's already working well in people. What are some of the general strengths that people have? Let's think about what is meaning in life. Let's think about what compassion is. Let's think about what gratitude is. So rather than focus on depression, anxiety, stress, and all these more of symptoms per se, let's focus on what's right with people. So, positive psychology is defined as a scientific study of the strengths that enable individuals and communities to thrive. So, as you can see here, the emphasis is helping them thrive. It's not for them to bring from negative to point zero, but for someone who is either from negative to a positive or from zero to positive. So, our emphasis is not staying status quo, but rather helping them thrive. And the field is founded upon the belief that people want to lead meaningful and fulfilling lives, to cultivate what is best within themselves, and to enhance their experiences of love, work, and play. So it all sounds good, right? Positive psychology seems to be something that we can really foster in our clients. But one thing that you want to pay attention to or want to alert yourself to is that positive psychology does not mean that you have to always be happy or you have to always be positive. You have to always be on the positive mood because that's just impossible. And not only is it impossible, there's actually a whole literature that supports that people who are only wanting to be happy or only wanting to be positive are actually experiencing low levels of well being. So we want to have a good balance of realistic understanding of what you're currently going through, but within that given situation, within the realistic bounds, what are some strengths or what are some positive aspects that you can draw to so that you can recover faster, so that you can thrive as an individual? So, with this perspective, some of the concepts that we'll be learning in this class is practicing mindfulness so that people become aware of mind body connectivity, that physical health and mental health are indeed existing and that they're related. How to feel and express gratitude, how to find and accentuate one's strengths, how to invest in a quality, meaningful relationship, how to savor positive experiences, and how to commit to and realize meaningful goals. So, these are the concepts that you will be introduced to in this class. But because we don't really have a real client in front of us in this class, although you have some case examples and peer coaching projects that you'll be able to practice this in person with a partner, we don't really have a real client in front of us, right? So how I formulated this course is that you're going to first practice these concepts on yourself, so you as a coach, and that way you know what these are, whether they're effective, how they work, and then through practice with these peer coaching partners that I have you do in the course, you'll be able to kind of practice with another person. So it's somewhat realistic, semi realistic, but not with a real client. And then hopefully after the end of the class, you'll be able to incorporate some of the tenets that you've learned in this class in your practicum or in your internship sites. So at this moment, you might be kind of asking me this question of, okay, I understand what coaching is, I understand what positive psychology is and how that could be applied to a coaching practice, but do I, as a coach, need to practice these things? Can I just understand it? And the answer is no. So you as a coach need to not only understand this, but also embody these to be effective with your clients. There's actually a literature that exists on the level of competence that a provider, so a coach, has on their intervention skills, actually predicting clients' skill set in those domains. So the more that you're competent, the more that you're skillful in practicing mindfulness, that is directly related to your client's skill level of practicing mindfulness. So the short answer is you need to know these, but also practice those. And also, I think there's another aspect to it. So we don't want, as a provider and as a coach, you don't ever want to ask your client to do what you don't believe in, right? What you don't think is going to be effective. So to speak, you need to walk the walk in order for your clients in order for you to expect your clients to also attain a level of satisfaction and fulfillment. And if you don't believe yourself that these interventions are not going to be effective, then that is actually going to be not going to be helpful to your clients, because it might be coming through in your maybe provision of introduction of what these practices are, or even in the subtle tones that you have in introducing these practices. So for us to be able to provide these coaching services to our clients on these domains, not only do you want to understand it, you also want to practice it and embody it. So this is all is to say that you will be experiencing these yourself as a person in this course. And my hope is that you have a more of a balance as well as incorporated personal and professional identity. I personally believe that your professional identity cannot be totally separate from your personal identity as a person. Even just like thinking about who enters a helping profession, I believe that there is some personal commitment and values that hold these people to come into helping profession versus other professions. So you want to be able to embody these in your own personal and professional identity so that you can be more effective with your clients. So another theory that I want to introduce to you, which is actually quite related to both the positive psychology and the coaching definition that I've introduced, is the self-determination theory. And the reason why I'm introducing this theory is because, one, it is widely cited, empirically supported, but two, because I think we often forget when we see people, people meaning clients, who may not be appearing so. So let me tell you what I mean by that. So self-determination theory posits that individuals have basic and universal psychological needs, which are autonomy, competence, and relatedness. And when these three basic psychological needs are met, individuals can live well, and they can live a fulfilling life. So oftentimes, let's say when we see a client who comes in to you and say, you know, I live by myself, I rarely have social interactions, and, you know, I've kind of gotten used to this lifestyle. I don't necessarily want to go out and make new friends. And you might think, oh, okay, this might be true, but also you might want to assess whether their level of relatedness, their need level of relatedness is sufficiently fulfilled. So you don't want to take what your client tells you for granted, even if it appears as though from the client's disclosures, but rather you want to pay attention to whether these basic needs are indeed met. So if there is someone who comes in with some physical ailment and that physical, let's say, fitness and capacity was important for them, then you can understand that the level, the need level for this person, especially in the domain of competence, might be a little low. and maybe autonomy related to that as well, and maybe relatedness too, because it makes them less not only competent in their own physical skill set, but also it makes them more self-conscious. So they are less active in social activities and so on. So when you're understanding your clients presenting concerns, pay attention to whether you think these three needs are met, regardless of what your client is actually telling you. Because, as I said before, clients not only give us the most ambiguous goals that they have, but also sometimes they don't give us the full picture. All right, so to wrap up, in this class, you are enrolled in the right class if you have a passion for healthy living, and I presume you all are, especially given the fact that you are studying hard in your respective disciplines to be able to have help to other people. So I presume all of you have passion for healthy living, and who wouldn't want to, right? And that not only do you have that passion, but also you want to help others live their most fulfilling lives. And so you know that your needs are there, your wants are there, and you want to have some skill sets so that you can add wellness coaching and tools to your own respective expertise that you are currently very diligently building in your respective disciplines. And by doing so, you are committed to a career that is satisfying and making a meaningful difference. And I think there's a real value to this. I mean, we all want to be nurses, physical therapists, dietitians, nutritionists, and we could all be whoever we want to be within those respective occupations. So you can be someone who goes to your job just because that's gonna help you put your mortgage in, let's say, or have food on the table. But there's also other group of people who might want to make a real meaningful differences with their clients and patients. And I think there is actually a real value in that, and that gets transpired to our clients in helping them feel better and recover faster and actually live a thriving life. So if you're someone who cares about a career that is more than status quo and is committed to a satisfying and making a meaningful difference career, then you're right in the right course. And lastly, as I said, if you want to grow as much as personally and as professionally in your training, with that infused personal and professional identity as whoever in your respective disciplines, I think this is going to be a great course. So I'm really excited for this course. As you can see, it's really tied to my research clinical interests, and I've always loved just the level of transparency and vulnerability that's been generated in this course in the past couple of years. So I'm really excited for this course, and I hope you are as well. All right, so this will be the length of my weekly lectures, so about 20 minutes. And some weeks I'll be posting lectures, some weeks I'll be posting videos that I would like you to watch without me actually lecturing on a particular topic. And every week we have a discussion post topic that I'll be posting. And there's also both self-reflective and experiential activities tied in to the course throughout the semester. So pay attention to the syllabus. And if you have any questions, feel free to email me. And I'll try to reply as fast as I can. All right, so that's it for this week, and I'll see you next week.